Hello.
Hello.
We are here finally.
You say down at your phone.
Well, that's my
hi.
list is on the phone.
Oh, okay.
I
cool.
I didn't want to make the mistake I did with the horror
Right,
movie
last
review and
time. Yeah.
accidentally hit unrecord.
So, welcome to the channel. I'm Anna. This is Adam, and we are rather belatedly doing our countdown of our top 10 favorite, not best, but favorite movies that we saw this year.
I mean, kind of best, but I feel like, as far as ranking, it's more like, like some people would do these lists and they'd seen like practically every movie, and it's like, saw some.
Personal preference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not see many.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably won't even have any honorable mentions, will you? Unless you really wanted that number 11 as an honorable mention.
Yeah.
I saw at least 26, so.
Golly.
A lot of them on streaming, so it wasn't like I went to the theater that much. But
yeah.
It was just,
well, do you want to, run through your honorable mentions first?
Sure.
And then we'll do our...
That'll work.
Top 11, I guess.
Yeah. But they're just, a lot of movies that either I wanted to see and then didn't get a chance to in theaters, or it was just like, yeah, that looks bad.
Right.
There's some of the movies on here are movies that people probably said the same thing, but I just said about. But I don't care, because this is our personal preference. This isn't. We're not the Oscars. We're just.
Yep. This is just
two people who like
opinions.
Movies and so anyway, honorable mentions. I have 3 that I put on my honorable mentions list because I was thinking about it, and some of the movies that I made on my horror ranking list will appear on here as well because I thought they were good movies. So yeah, I'm gonna start off with the first controversial one to get an honorable mention. Ant-Man and Quantumania. Yeah. Boom.
Oh, wow.
Everybody wants to fucking dog on that movie so badly when it's like... I mean, yeah, other than the CGI. What was wrong with that? I think you guys are all too negative sometimes. If...
You. Specifically you.
You all! But no, I think people have been absolutely spoiled by the Marvel movies somewhat. And it's just like, if everyone isn't fucking perfect, then it's just trash. Or you get the people who just want to be like, I haven't watched anything since Endgame, but let me put a comment down below about it so that I can feel like I'm important and part of the conversation. No one cares. Shut up. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, this is our channel. I can say what I gotta say.
Okay.
Anyway, I frankly had a good time.
Yeah.
As did you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I won't say it's the best movie ever. I won't say it's Marvel's best movie, but I thought there was some good moments to it. A lot of people complained about ants beating Kane the Conqueror. And it's just like it's a comic book.
Yeah,
guys, have you ever read a comic book?
Yeah.
They're kind of silly and ridiculous at times. And so, yeah, I understand when this is your big bad, and yeah, they wouldn't have had Thanos get beat up by ants. I get that. But then don't put Kang in your Ant-Man movie. There's, that's probably, and that'd be the only thing I would say. They probably shouldn't have put Kane in this movie. But they did. So I thought it was fine. I still thought he looked effective before all the stuff with Jonathan Majors went south. Yeah. But, I thought he was fine. And I thought everything else was fine. So
cool.
I didn't put it on my top 10 because I would say honorable mention. But, I think it's, it was underrated and shouldn't have been trashed. Just like all these people were like, oh, it's the worst Marvel movie. Why? Anyway. Next would be another one that some people didn't like, and that'd be Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Oh.
I personally liked this film. I'm not saying it's perfect. There was some moments that I was like, but overall I thought it was fun. I had a good time. I knew it's, most likely the last time we'll see Harrison Ford play Indiana Jones, so I try to take it as that and not just be like, well, this isn't as good as those other 3 movies that they did. So I don't care about it. And it's like, well, yeah, he's old. I get it. But, it's his fucking role. I mean, what's wrong with having one last swan song? Some people don't want to do that, and some people do. Hey. So I enjoyed it. My last...
One more.
What?
Oh, sorry, your last...
last one would be No Hard Feelings, Jennifer Lawrence comedy one.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed that. It's a good flick.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, you didn't watch it. Okay?
I didn't watch
it. Mrs. Let's watch things.
What? Why are you so
I don't know.
hostile?
I'm very hostile. This is the hostile Adam. It's a new year. It's a new me. All right. Anyway, no, it's a good comedy movie. It's got some heart to it as well. So yeah, and I thought it was a nice kind of comeback movie for Jennifer Lawrence because she kind of had a couple of movies that didn't really do well,
and then she took a break.
And she took a break and had a baby and got married and stuff. So, but I thought it was a nice comeback movie, and there were some people who were like, "Oh, I can't believe that she's lowered herself to this." Like, fuck off. It's just like, yeah.
All right. So, I feel like I have to give a little disclaimer for myself because I saw so few films this year. Things that made my top 11, I guess, are not necessarily like... They're basically ranked because that's what I saw that came out this year.
Fair.
Not necessarily...
That's fair.
Because they were all, like, pristine films.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Alright, so I know we said top 10, but are we doing top 11?
No, we can do top 10 because I already... The three
you wrote top 10. Okay, so I'll just
put the honorable mention.
I'll just say my number 11.
What was your number 11?
Cobweb.
Okay.
Do you remember Cobweb?
Yes, honey, it's on my list.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. Cobweb. It was a horror film starring Homelander. Gosh. What a thing to lead with. A kid thinks his parents are murderers. That's the plot.
Yeah. It's twisted.
It's twisty.
Very dark fairy tale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's your number 11.
That's my number 11.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So now we'll get into the actual top 10 ranking.
Sure. Sounds good. So number 10 for you.
Number 10 for me. Number 10 for me is Evil Dead Rise.
Ah, I did not see that film.
Yeah, you didn't. I watched it by myself.
And my number 10 is It's a Wonderful Knife.
Ah, interesting. Yeah. That is not on my list.
That's fine.
I had it on my horror list, I think, but...
Again, like I said, I did not see many films this year.
I know. Well, we can also give quick comments on the movies, too.
Go for it.
I enjoyed Evil Dead Rise. I think it was still a very good Evil Dead movie. I know some people are like, but Ash isn't in it. And it's like, well, Bruce Campbell's getting old. We got... To me, it's kind of like with Cobra Kai. It's like Ash the Evil Dead. We kind of got a nice Ash being in this Evil Dead world thing for the series, and then, not that I would mind if he popped up again in something, sure, but like I think that they at least, it still had a lot of the Evil Dead elements. It was very dark and graphic and stuff, and so I don't see why anyone wouldn't have liked it. I thought it was a well done film. I liked being in a high rise building and stuff. It was it was a good flick. Your thoughts on your movie?
Oh, It's a Wonderful Knife. It's a horror take on It's a Wonderful Life, as if the title didn't clue you in. Things that I liked about the film. Justin Long as Mr. Potter.
He's good.
He was kind of over the top and funny. And I initially liked kind of the mystery aspect of what they were going for. I do feel like it kind of went off the rails with like the by like putting her dad into the mix as
that was
and then being all like, surprise, Mr. Potter like can mind control the town. It came out of that part came out of nowhere.
Strange.
It was a fun concept that that didn't really it had too many plot holes really to come full circle for what they were going for, I felt.
I'd agree.
Alrighty, number 9.
Number 9. Let me see what I have here. Sorry, to keep opening this up. My number 9 is Cobweb.
My number 9 is Renfield.
Oh, cool. I also liked Cobweb, and of course, like it's starring Homelander. His name is Anthony Starr. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
But he was great as Homelander, and him and Lizzie Kaplan play the parents, and they're very creepy in it and stuff. But there's so nice. I really liked it. I remember seeing the trailer before, and I'm like, that looks interesting, and we watched it at home. I was gonna see it in the theaters, but then I was like, it was
already out of theaters.
It was already on Amazon, so I'm like,
we'll just
rent it here and watch it, and we enjoyed it. So that's my number 9. And you want to talk about Renfield?
Renfield, with Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage. Nicholas Hoult playing the title character, Nicolas Cage playing Dracula.
Indeed.
Yeah, I liked the idea of like of Renfield trying to like break up with Dracula basically, and how like the whole thing is like sort of a comparison for an abusive relationship. And I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Abusive relationships are not fun.
No.
I did not word that well. But no, I thought that what they were going for in that comparison, and with Renfield trying to like find his own independent life, I thought that was a cool idea. That I thought Nicholas Hoult played very well.
Absolutely.
I thought Nicolas Cage was over the top in a good way.
Right.
Because with Nicolas Cage, you kind of have to be specific.
Yeah.
But this is one of those times where it works.
It's his birthday today. He's 60.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Well, happy birthday, Nicolas Cage. I'm glad you finally got to play Dracula.
Yeah.
And the downside to it, like the whole subplot with like the murders and stuff.
And like
the mob feud and all that.
Yeah,
I didn't really feel that.
Yeah.
It felt kind of unnecessary.
Right. Yeah.
So that kind of I felt brought the plot down, but we streamed it at home, and for that, totally enjoyable.
Yeah. Cool. So that's number 9 for you.
Yep.
All right, that was actually my number 8.
Oh, okay, cool. And my number 8 is Totally Killer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I just want to reiterate what you said a little bit. I also wish that, like, because wasn't it like that one thing, the other gang or whatever, it was supposed to, like, be Mexican for wolves? I thought I thought there was a missed opportunity to make them werewolves.
Yeah.
That would have made it more interesting.
Yeah,
but
Diablo.
I will say,
No,
I thought that
Diablo. Anyway.
I liked that it was a horror comedy, but they still went all balls to the wall with the horror. It was still bloody and stuff like that. So I like that they still remember that it was Universal. And I give them credit for their last couple movies of, because they tried to start the Dark Universe, which didn't work out very well. But so I think now they're just kind of, I liked Invisible Man. I liked this. I know they're working on Wolfman 1. And many others that they'll be working on. But, I think they're doing a pretty good job with just trying stuff out, just shaking it up a little bit.
Yeah, having fun with their properties.
Cool.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Let's see. Totally Killer. So that is, if It's a Wonderful Knife is the horror film version of It's a Wonderful Life, then Totally Killer is the horror film version of Back to the Future.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny. I thought Kieran Shipka did a really good job as the lead.
Yeah, definitely.
It was funnier than I was expecting it to be for starters. Yeah. And and a lot of the things that I felt let down by in It's a Wonderful Knife, this film does it's got a much tighter plot. It's got a much there aren't as many there aren't things clip along at such a rate that it's you don't stop to think about kind of the silliness of the plot. Yeah. And so because of that, it works better. I think that's it.
Cool. Well, that was actually my number 7.
Cool. So. My number 7 was Quantumania.
Oh, nice. Cool. Well, you can make your defense of it too.
All right.
I agree on the Totally Killer, because that was Totally Killer was actually my number 1 in horror ranking movies. I really enjoyed it as well. I think it was they handled the genre well. It was a good guess on who the killer was. I had an idea on one of the killers, but the other killer I was not really expecting. I was like, oh, okay. But no, I thought it was well handled. It had some good humor to it. It was very much like Happy Death Day had that similar humor. Where it's, it's slasher with the humor. But so I like movies like that. I like I like regular horror as well, but I do enjoy a horror comedy when it's handled well. And done well. So that's my number 7.
Cool.
You talk about Quantumania.
All right. Yes. yeah, the special effects are not great. I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's been a problem.
It's been a problem for a while for Marvel, just because they've been the quality control, as most people know, has just not been great in terms of quality control and just pushing things out
too quickly. Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed the sort of fairy tale-esque sort of like Wizard of Oz style plot of we're in the real world and we've been sucked in. Like, although I do understand the criticism of what's her name, the daughter's name, Cassie.
Yeah, Catherine.
Oh yeah. Cassie, right?
Yes, Cassie Lang.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The criticism of and suddenly Cassie is a science genius. Because all the teenagers in the MCU are science geniuses.
Yeah, that does.
And that here it kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back of like, what, really, Cassie Lang? But I thought once we got into the Quantumania world, like it was fun. I liked Michelle Pfeiffer getting to have something more to do.
Yeah.
As Janet. I liked Hank Pym and his aunts.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cute. Yeah. And then when they all, like, the whole army of ants comes flooding in, it was actually kind of a feel good moment, kind of heartwarming.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Let's see. But yeah, there was more that I enjoyed than I didn't enjoy with this one. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Number 6.
What's your number 6?
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Ah, okay. I did not see that one. My number's I know I need to see it. It's not because I don't want to. It's just I haven't been able.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was something that I have not seen.
Yes.
My number 6 is something you have not seen.
Oh, what was it?
Take Care of Maya.
The fuck is that?
We'll talk about it in a second. Hang on.
Okay. Well, Across the Spider-Verse is the sequel to Spider-Man, the first one in the Spider-Verse. And it's a good sequel. The animation continues to be amazing. That's one thing Sony's definitely got a lockdown on. And that's what they should focus on instead of their terrible universe. But that's a conversation for another day. But no, the animation's really good. We get some other characters in there. We get Spider-Punk and a couple other spider characters. There's Spider-Woman and stuff like that. So it's and we get not Miles Morales. We have Miles Morales. We get Spider-Man 2099. So
Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't figure his name. But yeah, and Oscar Isaac does his voice and stuff. And we also get the other characters do pop back up towards the end, and we get some twists and turns around there. But well, yeah, this what they do with the animation alone is great. The story's pretty solid too. It's a good use of the Spider-Man characters, and I said the first movie really made me actually like Miles Morales, because for the longest time it was like but no, actually it's Miles Morales is fine.
Yeah.
It's one of those characters that they've done that's actually done well. Can't say the same for Ruby Williams, but anyway.
That's a totally different story.
Different character. So yeah, I liked
different
it.
Character.
I liked it a lot. It's fun. I look forward to the finale that will be coming out this year.
Cool. So Take Care of Maya is a documentary on Netflix about Maya Kowalski.
Oh, right.
And her experiences with Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital and the subsequent lawsuit that followed.
Right.
And it's I was not expecting to, like, I knew it was heavy material going into it. I was not expecting to cry as much as I did. Yeah, I'm glad she got a chance to tell her story.
Right on. Yeah, I totally didn't even put it into perspective of like documentaries and stuff, because I watched a few documentaries too.
Oh,
like that Slice to One one was pretty good. Sly, that was good. I'm not putting it on my list, but it was good. I enjoyed it. All right, so we're up to 5 now. Woo! Look at us go.
Yep, top 5.
Number 5. All right, what is your number 5, honey?
My number 5?
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Okay, mine was Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Ah.
So yeah. Although, really, as I was saying, like my top 5, you could probably interchange around.
Cool.
Pretty much from everything I've had on the list I liked, but like from here on up, pretty much I loved all these movies.
That's how I feel about my top 3.
Cool. But yeah, Guardians 3 is the final Guardians movie, at least under the James Gunn thing. And it's really well done. It's they really have a villain who's a villain and is not just misunderstood. You know, Disney likes to do that shit.
Oh.
Well, I'm just saying, that gets really old and repetitive.
I don't think that, in fairness, though, that does not apply to any of the Guardians of the Galaxy villains.
No, I'm not saying Guardian. I'm saying some of the other ones where it's just like, oh, I'm a sympathetic villain. Okay, well, that's great once in a while, but when you do it the whole lot,
no one's going to be sympathizing with the animal torture.
Yeah, and it was very graphic and yeah, brutal. Some of the stuff that happens, but you know, the Guardians are all great. There's a lot of high emotions throughout with the characters, and you're not sure what's going to happen to each character and stuff like that by the end. But you know, the music's great as usual, a good soundtrack and stuff. And it was definitely the best Marvel movie that came out this year. Best Marvel TV series would be Loki, but
but the best Marvel movie, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, agreed.
Came out this year.
Absolutely. So that's my number 5.
Cool.
And yours is Dungeons & Dragons. Yeah.
Yep, the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
I've seen it twice.
Cool.
Well, once in the theater and then once with you. So.
It was fun. Like, it felt like it was made by people who actually play Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
And I liked the camera work in a lot of those scenes where like they were like sneaking around the castle or where oh my gosh, what was she? The
Were-owl.
Yeah, the were-owl, when she was like transforming into things as she was like moving through, like that camera work was really, really cool. Absolutely. And it was also funny and just fun and just like a fun adventure film that I feel like we don't get a lot of nowadays. So yeah.
Cool. And that was my number 4. So
all right, that was your number 4. My number 4 was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Cool. Well, I'll talk about just to jump on your Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure.
I like I said, we recently got into Dungeons and Dragons through our. Well, you've done some, I guess, in the past, but
yes, I have.
Anyway, but we had done one on our other channel that's been kind of on hiatus due to circumstances. But I went into it just like with like, oh, well, this looks like it could be fun, and ended up just absolutely loving it. And just I loved all the.
That makes me so happy.
Can I talk? No.
Sure, sorry.
No, but I liked all the characters. The humor was good, and it was just everybody played their role well. It didn't feel like sometimes in these type of movies you can get this where it's like characters putting each other down and shit. You know, especially if it's like. I'm a female, like sometimes Hollywood does with female characters where they have to be like, I am a strong, independent woman, and you know. I didn't feel like that was like this. I feel like, you know, especially when Chris Pine gives a speech about, we failed together, like we failed together. Start a new plan, you know. It's like I like that it was written well like that. It just, because there's so much with sometimes where things get written and it's just like, get out of the way, you stupid man, and you know, or stupid woman, either way. But where it's just like, I like that they felt like a team, which is what I like about the Guardians films. They feel like a team as opposed to you're working for me, peon.
Right,
you know? It's like, and so which is
the leader with their supporting characters. Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it was definitely great movie. Go ahead and talk about Indiana Jones, honey.
I really liked it as for its action sequences. They felt like like worthy follow-ups to what we think of when we think of Indiana Jones action scenes. Right. Always nice to see Harrison Ford as Indy. Sort of an older, sadder Indy, but still Indy. With hope at the end. So I don't feel too bad. It was just a fun movie. Yeah, I mean, it has its flaws, but it's still fun. Yeah, and I also just say, like, there's a lot of people, like,
when the movie was coming out, we're just like making little mockers. And he's like, "Is he gonna be in adult diapers and shit?" And it's just like
that's gross.
That's
gross and
that's
ageist.
called ageist. Yeah, asshole. It's like, Harrison Ford's still in really good shape for his age. I mean, come on. Yeah, but I like how they used his age well.
Yeah,
like they didn't try to make him seem like I'm still 30. They get the idea. It's like, yes, this shit hurts now.
Yeah,
I've been through this shit. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. Good job.
Cool.
All right.
Top 3.
Get to the top 3. Here we go. What's your number 3, honey?
Well, as I said, I feel like any one of my top 3 can be interspersed for the number 1 spot.
Cool.
That said, what I put for number 3 as I was making this list was Barbie.
What's funny? That was my number 3 as well. How about that? That works out well. Cool. So you can start it, and we can just talk about it together since
I love this movie. I loved this movie. I love this movie. No.
That's all I got.
I love the fact that it's structured like a children's story, and when I say children's story, specifically a story written by a child,
right?
Like you would do as a child about your dolls that you're playing with,
right?
Like the whole sequence of how the Barbies move from Barbie Land into the real world, the whole process, and then and coming back, and these little rituals that are very important when you're a kid.
Right.
And just the way some of the characters talk even in the real world, and the narrative aspect, and it took that and then combined it with adult themes,
right?
Fear of death, depression, dreams deferred, career stagnation,
right.
Fearing that you're losing communication with your loved ones.
Right.
And then and combining it into a film that's really funny, and also touching, and taking actual real life facts about the actual Barbie product.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a lot of fun. It's one of those things when it's I wasn't sure what to expect going into it. And it was one of those things where it's all okay, Greta Gerwig is writing and directing this. Oscar, I can't remember if she's actually won Oscars.
She's been nominated.
She's been nominated multiple times.
Right. Oscar-nominated
Greta Gerwig is writing and directing a Barbie movie.
Right.
As soon as you hear that, you're like, okay.
Right.
And then when that first teaser dropped, where it was the first Barbie, and this giant Margot Robbie, modeled after the original Barbie doll, standing as this 50-foot woman in the desert, and all the little girls are just start smashing their baby dolls while 2001 Space Odyssey is playing. As soon as that dropped, I was like, okay, I need to see this movie.
Right.
And it's it has a plot, and but it's also weird, in a way that is fun, and kind of comforting. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's weird in a way that it's all there is some sort of innocent version of my brain that really connects with this type of weirdness.
Right.
Specifically. So and of course, the acting is fabulous. Margot Robbie is great as Barbie. Ryan Gosling is great as Ken. Beach Ken.
A beach.
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's just I found it a delightful film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And I think that they touched on, even with the silly weirdness of it, they touched on some real type of things as well. And, how bad a patriarchy is, but also how bad a matriarchy would be too. So I think I liked that there was a balance, because a lot of times we get into just one viewpoint, and it doesn't feel like it's, balanced.
And how those ideologies hurt everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that I like that, you see Ken's progression too. It doesn't feel like he's just a background player so much.
I think we can handle a Ken on one of the lower circuit courts. We'll take it!
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Good job, Ken. Maybe someday you will have the equality that women have in the real world.
Right. Yeah, but it didn't feel as heavy-handed as sometimes those type of movies that Hollywood.
No, it was fun.
Yeah, it was
fun.
Part,
it was part of the plot, and it was fun, and it was silly.
Because there's definitely ways where people do it, and it's just like beating you over the head with it.
Yeah, well, one of the things I liked when tackling the idea of patriarchy is not only was it fundamental to the plot, not only was it treated as a threat to Barbie Land, it was also treated as absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
Because patriarchy is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just the fact that Ken spends so much time thinking that it's about horses,
right.
And then when he finds out that it's not, he loses interest.
Right.
That's great. Yeah. It's such a great way to handle it.
Right. And I think we all liked the I'm Just Ken song very much.
I'm Just Ken.
Wanna push you around.
Oh, God.
Matchbox, funny. All right, cool. So that's our number 3.
All right, number 2.
Number 2. What's number 2?
Who? Number 2 and number 1. God,
yeah,
everything in the top 3 are just flipping around constantly.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna go with what I wrote in the moment.
Fair.
Bearing in mind that my mind may change tomorrow.
Right.
For number 2, I wrote Poor Things.
Cool. I actually, in this moment, have switched Poor Things to my number 2.
Ah.
I was thinking about it.
So we both have it at number 2?
Yeah. So with that. Our number 1s will be different, I know that much.
Yes,
But,
that's clear.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about Poor Things, honey.
Alrighty. Yay.
So Poor Things stars Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, and Willem Dafoe, amongst others. And it is kind of a bit of a take on the Frankenstein story a bit.
Well, it's based on a Scottish novel.
Okay.
Called.
Never mind what the hell I just
said.
Called
Poor Things. Which the novel is based. Okay. It clearly takes inspiration from the Frankenstein novel.
Yeah.
But let's make it with feminism, and so she plays Bella Baxter, who is a woman who's been brought back to life with the mind of a baby.
Yep.
Basically to kind of give that baby that a new shot at life.
Right.
And her name is Bella Baxter. Mm-hmm. And the film is about her growth and development. First in the care of her guardian, Dr. Godwin Baxter, which means we get to make the lovely pun of her calling him Father God. just in case this missed you.
Yeah.
So first there, and then out in the world as she travels.
Right. Yeah, it's very strange.
Yes.
We'll start off with that. Willem Dafoe has prosthetics on his face. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fisheye lens.
Yeah.
So much fisheye lens.
Yeah. But it's very funny too.
Yeah.
It knows how to balance the humor well. It's very much a discovery type of movie where you're discovering things, and it's just very out there in certain parts of all the experiments and stuff.
Yeah, and all the costume and sets are just gorgeous.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like the use of color in the film, and just the detail that went into the crafting of all of the sets and the props and everything.
Right.
Just really gorgeous. Just really gorgeous to look at, even as you're kind of like, ugh,
yeah,
it's so pretty, but
right, yeah. Right.
What the fuck is that? But
what is
it's
going
so pretty.
on there? Yeah. There's just a lot of really funny and heartfelt moments in the movie, and it was definitely one of the best times I had in the theaters this year. Yeah.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yep. So that is both of our number 2s.
Yay.
All right. So I think I have a feeling I know what your number 1 is.
Mm-hmm. So I think I know what your number 1 is.
Okay, cool.
Because it wasn't something I saw.
That's true.
So my number 1 that I put for right now, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Okay, you can talk about that since I already did.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I thought this was a great way to end the Guardians trilogy. It felt final without being depressive.
Right.
Just, I remember there was so much talk. Drax is gonna die. Right. Who's gonna die?
Yeah.
And like, I feel like there's so often a conversation about like when something ends, it means it's dead.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it just means
that you have to kill the character.
It just means the story's over.
Yeah.
Like
stories end. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's okay, and it doesn't mean death to to the narrative or death to the characters or anything.
Right.
But it felt final and closed. The door has been closed. And the character, everyone has grown and developed from where they were when we first met them. I feel like most of them are in one could argue poor Gamora, but but they're in a better place than when we first met them. Although no, like even her, like she's like based on where we saw her in Endgame compared to now. She has her own family with the Ravagers and yeah, so like I think that's one of the things I really liked about it, as well as giving some insight into Rocket and I feel like Nebula and Peter Quill got more character development in this as well.
Absolutely.
Just because one of the things, like I feel like this was the first one that didn't really focus on Peter Quill as a character. Just because the impetus was to save Rocket's life.
Right.
And by taking that focus off of him and having his focus focusing on someone else rather than on himself, I felt like that gave more growth and development for him as a character. And oh my god, I'm blanking on her name.
What, Mantis?
Mantis, golly. Brain. And Mantis, she got some fun character development here too.
Yeah.
Empathy is a power.
That's right.
You don't need to just beat things up in order to be powerful. That was another thing that I really liked about the message of this movie.
Totally.
Yeah, and Adam Warlock.
Right.
Funny. Yeah, so just
a good time.
A good time, like as weird, like as brutal as the scenes are that you just talked about. It's a really heartwarming wrap up, like it, and also like that scene at like the dog days scene, towards the end,
the singer really liked that too. That was included in there.
That's cool. Florence and the Machine.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Very much.
Yay! Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah.
So my number one is one that I saw by myself, but that was The Holdovers. Yes. Starring Paul Giamatti. So The Holdovers is from Alexander Payne, who, of course, did Nebraska, Election, Sideways, which also starred Paul Giamatti. And this one is set in the 70s. It's at basically a boys' school. And a whole bunch of people get, like, most of people's parents come to get them for Christmas, but, like, a couple boys get left behind, and it starts out with a bunch of them, and then it gradually ends up just being one kid.
Oh no!
Because the other ones go off. The one kid is rich, and dad comes and gets him and takes the other kids with him. But I can't remember exactly why the other kid gets left behind, but he has to stay. And so then he's dealing with this teacher, which Paul Giamatti has this kind of. He's wearing this kind of like fake eye thing, and it makes his eye they call him walleye as a insult, and but you can't tell which eye is messed up. So it's kind of a running thing there. There's also a actress playing the cook. She's really good. But she's going through some stuff as well. Like her son had been in Vietnam and stuff, and she's also a widow as well. So she's got a lot of emotional arc throughout the movie as well. And it's a good balance of just like the teacher and the student become closer, and this the main student, his mom has gotten remarried to this guy, and that's why she's not taking him home, because they want to go on their honeymoon. And then he wants to reconnect with his father, because his father has actually been put away in a mental facility, because he kind of, lost it a bit, I guess, would be the best. And so there's it's a good balance of just finding out each other's stories and kind of connecting with each other. And there's a lot of good humor throughout as well. There's a lot of heartfelt and a lot of good humor. Everybody gives a great performance. Paul Giamatti's great, and I hope he gets awards for this because they robbed him on Sideways, which is a fantastic movie. But no, it's like I said before, you could
drink Merlot.
Not drinking fucking Merlot. But no, it's a fine film. If you have liked Alexander Payne's other films, you'll definitely like this one. It's really well done. It's really well shot, really well written, and hopefully it wins a good amount of awards.
Yeah!
Yay! All right, cool guys.
Woohoo!
We made it.
That was our list.
We'll try to see more movies in 2024.
Yes.
So do you, just to wrap it up, is there any movies that are coming out in 2024 that you are excited about seeing? Not a damn one. No, it's fine.
I want to see that Nosferatu film.
Yes.
I want to see that pool night swim.
I've heard that's really bad.
Oh, is it? Oh no! Oh poo.
That's right.
That's
really
too bad.
January horror film. That's usually not a good release place. Yeah, I want to see the new Ghostbusters one.
Oh yeah.
Beetlejuice 2.
Yes.
I want to see that. Amongst other films that I can think of at this moment, but yeah, that's Nosferatu definitely. It's got one Dafoe.
There's and Emma Stone has one coming out. I think like the glow of the TV set or something like that.
Okay.
The TV's glow, something along those lines.
Weird,
I want to see
but
that.
Cool. All right, so that's our list for 2023. What are your favorites down below? You feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. And we'll be back next week with some more fun stuff. We've been watching the Batman. We did the two Tim Burtons, and we've done Batman Forever. So once we watch Batman and Robin, we will do kind of the same thing we did with the Spider-Man. And yep. You seem thrilled.
I am so looking forward to rewatching Batman and Robin.
Ice cold freeze.
Oh God. Okay, that's fine.
Night, guys.
Bye. Thank you so.